All right, guys. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning. It is now April 12th, 8:28 a.m. Eastern Time, back on the East Coast, guys. So I know a lot of you are still waking up. Let me lower this a little bit. So started a little bit early just because CPI numbers are coming out in about another minute or so. So the market's going to change. We sold off pretty well yesterday. I think that that's really what's coming down to. Let me just add this to the stream so you can see what are we looking at. So today, CPI, pretty simple, straightforward. That's what we're waiting on the news. The markets are pretty robust so far. What I'm noticing is the Dows are up, the S&P is up, off is low of 4,400. We're up about 18. Nasdaq futures are up. Crude oil is up slightly. The 10-year note kind of declined a little bit. Bitcoin is up. So overall, and also we got some news out of China that COVID is subsiding there. So there was some fears of the COVID coming out of there. So that's a positive note. I think that we're starting to see some manufacturers out of China working its way higher because that means doesn't mean that things are starting to open up again in China. So that's a positive. We're just gonna hang tight. We basically are looking for. What's up, James? What's up? Good morning. We're looking for the CPI numbers. So, point one, I think the market would crater if it's 1% higher than what it came in last time. Point zero five, I think we can probably go up. So, we don't know. You know, these markets, you got to start being a contrarian. But let's see what's going down here.
About 35, 40 seconds from March. Everything's green, barely. 50 on the NASDAQ.
Let's see.
The Dow was down for most of the pre-market session, but turned slightly higher, up 32 points. A tough session yesterday. S&P up about 9. The 10-year note has been trading right around 2 3/4, 2.769 at this point. And we did have a spike to some extent in oil, a 3 or 4% rise, but oil is still just below $100 a barrel as far as WTI. Rick Santelli and Steve Leisman are standing by. Rick, the number, please.
All right, well, the headline number comes in as expected, hot, up 1.2%, up 1.2%.
Whoa, okay.
That's the highest month-over-month inflation rate since 2005. If we strip out the all-important food and energy, it's up 0.3, about half what we expected, and well below the high water mark, which was April, and April was up 0.9%. That was the highest in 41 years, so we definitely eased back. Now let's go to the year-over-year numbers. 8.5% usurped 7.9. 8.5% remains a 41-year high after going back to 1981. And finally,
All right, so we're up 8.5. So
expected up 6.6
versus a year ago.
6.5, taking out the 6.4%. So up at 6.5, we're now looking once again to comp back to 82. That remains the same. With respect to comping, and the reason is because in 82 we traded all the way up to 9.1%. So you can see that 6.5 has some room to continue to go back to the same point 4 decades plus, and that really is the issue here, isn't it? Now, when we adjust earnings for inflation, if you look at hourly earnings on a year-over-year basis, they're down 2.7%. Adjusted for inflation on weekly year-over-year
Okay.
earnings, 2.6%. And this is really something to pay attention to. We're all together for the last big jobs report. We saw the very historic year-over-year wage gains at 6%, best since record keeping in 97. But we can see that it doesn't keep up with inflation. So these numbers outside of month-over-month core are all hot. They're all cycle highs. Something to pay attention to. We know that the Federal Reserve definitely went onto the shoulder of the road, thinking that inflation would be moderating. And of course, Leo Brannard will be addressing some of these very issues. Their long-term models still say that it's going back to 2%, and maybe the change will come down to 2% at some point. But the gains and where we stick on the board is going to remain higher than it was, and that's really what the middle class and most people in America understand. Joe, back to you.
Why the move? Yeah, that's Steve. So you said that they're pretty good at getting Whitney's right. So I'm not implying there is either you or Steve, Rick. I'm not implying there is a whisper number of something even worse than what we're seeing. So that's probably not what we're seeing.
All right, so we're going to be looking to see how the market reacts. I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to remove this. Let's add. Let's stop the share. Okay, so let's find out. So let's find out. Steve Neeson's talking about a whisper number. Right now, futures are barely holding on, right? NASDAQ futures, S&P crude oil slightly going up, 10-year note. So let's find out. So futures right now rally nicely off of that news. So again, we are rallying.
Pretty much spot on in terms of where the street or the forecasters were expecting a touch hotter, but inside the core, Joe, 6.5%. A couple areas, energy up 11%, food up 1%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot. You're 8.8% on food year over year. That's huge. The only thing that was decent in there, and Rick should care a lot about this. Rick, your used car prices were down.
Let me see if I can.
3.8%.
Can I open that? No.
They're still up 35% on the year, so don't get too excited, my friend. But at least for this month, they were down. New vehicles up 0.2, and we had that interview that Bill brought us earlier today, suggesting that he doesn't think from Toyota that there's much relief coming in new vehicle prices. Rick?
Yeah, I think that's a very important point, just on the conceptualization that we are seeing certain areas like used car prices come down a bit. But in the near term, when you compare that to how much they originally went up, it's the same thing that the government's saying, well, wow, look at how much we reversed the national debt.
Okay. Let's get to the breaking news. Consumer price index rose to 8.5 in March, slightly hotter than expected. So this is what I was telling you. It was last time it came in about 7.9. Let me just get rid of this guy. All right, so let's dive into this. Consumer price index came in at 8.5. So last quarter, or the last time this thing came out at 7.9. So roughly, we knew things were shitty. They were crap. Inflation was high. I mean, that was easy. That was it. Hello. All right, that was pretty simple. But if it came up above 8.5, I think the markets are going to react pretty positive. It came up above 0.6, which is close enough. And as you can see, the markets are reacting pretty positive right now. This is the futures market, and we rallied off 43.80. We rallied up about 40, 50 points pretty easily. As you can tell, we're coming up to the 50-day moving average, 44.80, 44.47. Key levels for the week that I have up here, it's going to be this 44.66. That's the level that I actually put on our Patreon page for the week. So, and then we can probably hit up this 45.20 and maybe get sold off there. So let's see how this rally comes up right now. Do we continue going higher, or is it going to stop its head at this 44.50? But ultimately, this was something that we talked about last night in the class, that if they come up a little weaker or less than expected, we could rally. So again, 4,400, 43.90 is where I expected a lot of bulls to come back in. So that was a pivot moment that we were looking at. Obviously, you can see right now that the order flow is going a little bit higher based on news. So there we have it. Futures are going up higher. Does it stay up this high? So if we look at futures, the 1 minute time frame ran up highly. This is the level we're going to be looking at, 4444. Again, coming down. Looks like this momentum is coming to the end. We have about another about 40 minutes before the market opens. So let's see how high this goes. Does it stay in this area? Look at 4448. All right. As far as the overall indices, again, in the Patreon class yesterday, we discussed how this 50-day moving average is at 4427. It needs to be saved. Can this bounce off at 0? Does it bounce off of here, go and stay in this range, or does it go lower? So far, Futures are saying that 44.38, that this 50 is going to be saved. So 4438 puts me at 4450, which is just right there. Now, at the open, what are we going to be looking for? We're going to be looking for to see if it holds, right? If it holds. So again, it's holding above the 50-day, which is great. And again, there's some headwinds at that 200-day moving average at that 4494. So again, watch that, and let's see what they're going. We're looking at the dailies here. Okay, if we start breaking below the 50, then more likely it's going to go down. But let's see if these MACDs can turn, because right now this is the beginning of a downward cycle. Even though we're still bullish bias, so it just means it's pulling back. But if it starts breaking below zero, then that means a pullback is probably going to go all the way back. All right. As far as the NASDAQ, futures are, let me see where the future, do I have the futures? Yes, I think I do. Let's look at the NASDAQ futures and Q1. Okay. NASDAQ futures, am I live? Yes, I am live. Okay. So once again, 14,179. That's going to put us 14,179. 179. That's going to put us right above here. So we're going to gap up, and let's see if we can break above that 14,337. That's the case. That's going to save this from going into negative territory and maybe bounce. So again, they do see some things, and again, we talked about it yesterday, that things are getting better. And again, things are going to get worse. They peak, and then what the market is going to price in, are they going to get better? At 0.5, 0.6 is predicting it's going to get better. So we'll see. Remember, we react to the news. Right now, we're just kind of setting yourself ready and seeing which way it goes. Russell, again, probably going to come up a little higher. So again, and Russell's kind of going sideways right now. So we talked about that yesterday. So let's see. All right. As far as the trades today, we talked about the futures. Let me just look at this real quick. So this is good. It means that the ES1. Okay. So futures are climbing. Okay. So VIX is currently selling off. So we were at the verge of hitting that 25%. So this is pretty bullish so far. If the VIX can come down a little bit, then that means that we're probably going to have an up day today. All right. Treasury notes coming down a little bit. So that's pretty bullish. This thing rallied up pretty nicely. This thing needs to come down, kind of pull back a little bit. Okay. As far as Bitcoin, this should rally too. Bitcoin is being a little positive today. So let's see, as well as Ethereum. But consolidation. All right. Let's see where the plays are at today. Yesterday we called out a few plays that worked out pretty beautifully. Hope you guys enjoy those plays. And let's see if we can go into the banners, market environment, potential movers, and let's see what the potential movers are today. So off the bat, I'm going to be looking at any potential squeezing. So 44.50 is going to bring the XPX closer to that 50-day moving average, which is great. Watch it at that level. It looks like the MACDs are going to probably turn. Can it break through that 50-day moving average? And if it does, next level up is going to be right in here, just 45.20. Again, just watch the levels, and when I get to the spiders, I'll show you. NASDAQ, everything's coming back up to the 50. Everything's coming back up to the 50, so there'll be some setups today. Google, pre-market, looking good. Squeezing is in play. Don't fall in love, traded to the levels. Can it go up to about 20? Okay, so if we take out Google, and I'll break this down. Amazon squeezing right now, pre-market. Tesla moving pre-market. Okay, so we got Tesla moving 998. If it takes out that 1009, it's probably going to run. ISRG not really moving. I don't have the pre-market moves yet, and CMG I don't get these yet. Let me look at one more other page so I can look at Roku's moving, Netflix is moving, Apple's moving. That's a positive. You got Apple moving and Shopify moving. Okay, so we got both of these moving, squeezing. We have NVIDIA moving, okay, and we have Lam Research. So a lot of moving, a lot of squeezing, okay, so today's probably going to be an update. All right, let's see what the potentials are. As far as spiders, we call these levels. These were the levels from the Patreon. As you can tell, we held up that 440. We're probably going to work up to this 4444, and let's see what happens there, which is coincides with the 50-day moving average on the hourlies. Is it going to get sold off around that 4450 or 445? But it's rallying. We have a squeeze on the 15-minute time frame, and this is kind of like what we're looking for. Unfortunately, the market is still closed. So at this moment, what we will do is, we'll just wait to see how far this goes up. This is a very positive news. The market's being very, very robust. But this will come to the end. It will settle at the cash open, which is the opening price. So let's see what happens. But I wouldn't chase it because right now it's a low probability trade. So let it go up. And then let's see if it can pull back closer to the 50 consolidation. But ideally, this had just started on the hourly. So more likely, it's probably going to go up to that. I've had a guess. It's probably going to hit that 445. And let's see what happens there. Does it break through? If it breaks through, it's probably got 447. And then right in this around 450. But reacting very, very positive. Let's look at spiders. We kind of already discussed that. And this is something that we saw with the overnight action bounce. It didn't really come all the way down, but bounce, and then it's going to rally. And what happens here? Does it get sold off? But we already covered that. So let me go into the usual suspects here, Google. All right. Google, nice rally here. Bouncing off of this 2570. More than likely, it's running. It ran a lot. Needs to pull back. It's probably going to run for the next 45 minutes. Let it settle, pull back. Broke the 50 here. 2648 is the next level. You have a little gap to fill there, and then can probably chugging his way up. So I see we got a nice squeeze already developing the 1 minute time frame. It started developing the 15 time frame, and it's probably going to go up to meet the 50-day moving average around 2683. This is probably going to come down, let's say right around here, 2670. But it's definitely going to meet it. Okay, so we have Google. We have Amazon. About to squeeze as well. Amazon rallying pretty nicely, and wish we had these moves before the market, but rallying up nicely. Again, probably going to meet that 3109. Probably going to hit his head there. Let's see what happens there. Fresh set of MACDs right here. We got it there, and it's an exhaustion buy right here. So in the 1 minute time frame, probably let it pull back. It's probably going to pull back before the market. So let's see what happens there, and there'll be a nice reaction. Tesla rallying up pretty nicely, coming up to that 1009 where we sold off right in this area right here. Again, if it breaks that, you got a gap to fill here around 1020, and then it could probably hit up 1077. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah, this area right here, 1077. But 1020 is also where the 50-day moving average is, all right, on the hourly. So fresh set of MACDs is going to stop his head there. But this is ideally where we like to take our trades at the 50. So be patient. We'll look for the setups. This is already on the 1 minute time frame, an exhaustion buy. So it's probably going to hit 1009, hit its head and pull back a little bit, and then maybe take another crack at it at the open. So, probably set it up. All you need, guys, it's really, one indice, one stock. I'm showing you maybe a couple of here. All you need is 1, 2, and then for the day, put up focus on maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 option contracts for that one stock. So maybe put 4 contracts, 2 calls, 2 puts. Put them on your screen and watch them, and again watch those contracts at certain price points, certain levels, and watch those and see how it reacts, and then look for your poison. So as it pulls back, you're gonna be looking at those contracts to the right, to the left of your screen, and then take note, and just focus on that. That's all you got to do. And that wasn't a discussion in Patreon group, but just that's all you got to do. All right, let's look at Tesla. What else are we looking at? Nvidia, because that popped up as well. So Nvidia is probably going to come up to the 50-day moving there around 230. It's definitely going to meet there. Again, and this is what's going to happen right now. And we have an exhaustion cell. It went up. We see momentum dying down a little bit, even though it's going up, but it's dying down. Let's see if it can. 227 is pretty hard. It might make it up to 230. But we're pretty far up there. I would like this thing to come down, consolidate, and then give me a breakout, a reset. But too far gone at this moment. If it pulls back, let's see how far can it pull back. Yeah, you got that 230 is pretty hard, which coincides with this 50-day right there. If it does break that, then yeah, you got 245, 248. Another mover, Apple, which is good because Apple needed to regain that 170 and it's about to regain it. So it's coming up to the 50-day moving around that 170. Nice squeeze here, and it's rallying. So we're about $1.50 away from that 170 mark. Fresh to the MACDs. It looks like it can take that out. Let's see if it takes it, but it's losing steam right here on the 1 minute time frame, and it's probably going to pull back. So let it pull back. It can probably pull back to about 166, and see what happens there, right? 166, yeah. All right. We got Apple. What else do we got? Well, we looked at Twitter. Twitter. Elon not being on the board is pretty positive. The question at hand is basically, how much of a premium does he want to pay for Twitter, right? So is it a hostile takeover? Yes, we talked on Patreon. I think $71 is a good price target. So this will be not for a day trade. This will be more for a long-term idea, thesis type of trade. So I think Elon bought 9.1%, and he's not going to stop. So that's something that can probably go a little bit higher. Let's look at Shopify. We talked about that at the Patreon group, and we kind of set this up a little bit. We had calls and puts on this thing. We talked about potential if the CPI number came in hot, that this probably is going to get lower. So Shopify could run. I mean, look at pre-market. Ran from 618 to 638, 20 points in the last 10 minutes or so, 15. Okay, so it's, again, everything's running, but we do have a nice squeeze here on the 50, on the hourlies here. Beautiful squeeze, breaking above zero. The lines are so. Can this go back up to about 652, 670? Maybe. So again, today is the overall indices. Obviously, we're at 44.55. That puts us right in here. 44.55 puts me at 44.65, right at the highs of yesterday. Do we sell off, or does it continue going higher and meet the 50, which is roughly around 4,500 currently? So key question right there. Don't know. But again, we're going to react to this. If you're trading XPX, and that's the case, then let's analyze this. Right now, 44.56, that puts us right there. So let's look at the 4,500s, the 45.20s, the 45.50s, somewhere in there on the call side. And those should probably print if we continue higher in this direction. So the 1 minute time frame still going, coming close here. It is currently 8:53. Let's just let it go. But it's breaking. It's starting to break levels. This is a level I'm watching on the 44.66. So it puts me around 44.76 on the XPX, which is roughly 44.76. Right in there. Right in here. Right at these lows here. Does it take it out? Well, let's see. All right. The spiders. So that's what we have there. Now, if it goes up high here, then we're going to be looking at some availability, both, because it's going to go one way, shape, or form. Does it continue higher or does it sell off, right? And if it sells off, with news like today, because this is pretty positive, it'll probably sell off and then rally back up. I'm not saying that's going to happen today, but more than likely, that's going to be kind of like the setup. That's probably going to be maybe for the end of the week. And remember, it's a short week. Do they buy into the weekend? Maybe. So we're going to be looking at that. What else? Let's look at the Qs. Apple running. So XPX is not going to crater with Apple up, by the way. Qs are running. Look at that. Nice squeezes here. So let's see. All right. I'm excited. I'm excited for today. I wish that things were set up a little bit better, but this could run. The IWM consolidating, nice squeezing here in the hourlies. I would like to see a setup a little bit closer, and let's see. All right. But this is good news, guys. We're rallying. VIX is dropping, so options are going to be a little bit cheaper here for us. So we will see, and we will see. All right. So today, what am I looking at? Twitter's going to rally. Twitter's probably going to go up to this. Twitter, fresh in the MACDs, bouncing off the 50 pre-market, which is 47, and it's only 47.77. This is not bad. If it takes out this $48, which it looks like it's probably going to do, you have these highs that it can probably, you got 49. It's probably going to go up to that 55 or maybe continue going a little bit higher. So this could rally into 71. These are really very cheap, and I have noticed that the call option for these, I just noticed, I was actually doing some research yesterday. Let me see if I have it. But basically, yeah, there was some call volume on these things yesterday. A lot of call options on the, was it here? No. I can't find it. There was a lot of call options on these things. A lot of volume on the 55s and 58s for Twitter. Like a lot. Let me see if I can. I can't, because if I do, then I'm only working on one computer. So if I do, this will shut down on me. But if you look at the 55s, I think it's for May, the end of May, somewhere in there. Look at the 55. Look at the 60 calls. There's a lot of activity on those. Like a lot of buying on those. All right. So this looks pretty easy. These will be fairly inexpensive at this moment because it's $47 stock. But based on that, that may be a play for a longer term. SPY still rallying. All right. Okay, so we got some nice coming up to that 44.50. Breaking through here, 44.66. All right, guys. That's all we got. I mean, pretty much at the open. What are we doing? Looking at these E-minis, I'm just gonna see how high this thing goes. Here comes the little pullbacks. We're getting these pullbacks coming to the end right there. The futures. And can it go back down to about 44.36? Right in there. Maybe even 44.44. But this thing rallied. I mean, just a ridiculous parabolic move. So unfortunately, parabolic moves, it has to kind of find a balance. So we're going to see how where does this balance out. So that's probably what's going to happen at this moment of time before the market opens in the next 30 minutes. So we're going to see another 30 candles and this thing balance, and then we'll get another setup. So just wait, put your options on the screen, and let's see, and just get ready. Right now, this will balance here. It's 4445. It's going to balance. Let's see where it goes. All right, for today, let's see what we like for today. Let's go. We're right there. So I'm going to be looking at on the spiders. Let's look at the 450s, 450 calls. Let's look at those. Right, 450, 448 calls, 447. I think anywhere of those calls I think I like. They'll be a little cheaper. VIX is dropping. And then on the downside, let's look for right here, 442, and then 440, somewhere in there. I think those will be good positions to kind of focus on for today. This should pull back, and then look for those calls to print around. This should pull back around. Point of controls around 443 at this moment of time. So 443, 441, it should probably settle before the open. Let's say around 442, 443 will be a good settlement moment, which is going to put us right in here if it settles, or does it break through? All right. That's what we got. All right, guys, go out there, go get it. It's just wait for the setup. Want to take the highest probability trade. And there we go. Whoa. All right. Yep, that's all we got. All right, guys, go out there, go get it. And just, again, focus on one. Watch about 2, 3 option plays, and let's see what happens here. And that's all we have. All right, go out there, go get it. All right, take care, guys. All right, bye-bye.